Ce-5.
Thank you for being a part of the Engaged Life family. Welcome home.
Is there anybody out there?
The lights in the night sky. Sky watchers. We're watching. We're watching.
Did you see that?
Here on EngageLife.fm.
Welcome, everybody. This is your host, Debra Jayne East, and we're watching the North Carolina skies and skies all over the world. And this has been Ce-5 month, and I'm very happy to have the Ce-5 San Diego group here with us again, and they are the Research Center for the Global Study of Extraterrestrial Contact, and that is a mouthful, but I'm very glad to have Peter Chan, Ted Mabbatt, and Caleb Stoddard here with me. Are you guys doing okay?
Good, yeah, doing great.
Good.
Yes, doing great.
Good. I want to ask each of you to give a brief little introduction, say your name, and tell me a couple of minutes about your background. And we'll start with Peter first.
Hi, I'm Peter Chan, and during the day I'm an engineer, so I do have a hard science background. I am the team coordinator for Ce-5 San Diego, which we like to have contact and relationships with extraterrestrial beings if possible. I've gotten to the extraterrestrial phenomenon because of Disclosure 2001, the video of the witnesses, and that's how I got involved with this. Then I took some training with Dr. Greer, and I had some training with Foster McRae.
That's great. And Caleb, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm from Olympia, Washington. How I got into the disclosure movement was back in 2011. I came across a documentary that came out for free on the internet called Thrive. It's the Thrive movement, and it introduced me to Dr. Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project, and I've been doing some research personally before that, just trying to answer the greater mysteries of our reality, and one thing led to another, and I found out that reality is really anything but what I thought it was, and in fact it's very exciting and full of a lot of mysteries, and I've just been pursuing the magnificence in that ever since, and have come across some great things, some great individuals, and have recently helped create San Diego Ce-5. And like you said, we're here to make contact and to develop relationships with the higher forms, the higher intelligences that are making contact with our planet.
Yes, and for the viewers that don't know, Ce-5 stands for Human Initiated Contact of Extraterrestrials. And Ted, you're our last guy here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got interested in extraterrestrial contact?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Ted Mabbatt, and been in San Diego for many years, since '96. But I've had an interest in the UFO subject since pretty much since childhood. We were on the show a few weeks ago, and I discussed this a little bit, but basically had some initial contact when I was young. Wasn't sure what it was at the time, and have just kind of been always interested in it from that point. And then I, like the other guys, a few years ago, became familiar with the Disclosure Project and subsequently CSETI, which is the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, headed up by Dr. Stephen Greer, and was very, very interested in this whole Ce-5 thing, this concept of not just waiting until you happen to see something in the sky, which is happening all the time, but actually initiating contact with these beings and also have, through that study and research, discovered that there's really nothing to fear about them, and that they are peaceful, and they have peaceful intentions, as do we. And then we got our group together, thanks to Pete Chan, and we've been doing some Ce-5 field work, for the better part of maybe 6 months, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really good with the keeping track of time, but it's been wonderful.
Wow. Well, I wanted to ask you guys, you mentioned fear, Ted, and I guess we can thank Orson Welles for that when when he did the broadcast of War of the Worlds. And I think that's probably got a lot to do with everything being so secretive, from my viewpoint. Why do you think there has been so much cover-up? I mean, ever since Roswell, even before that, why do you think it's so important that they hide things? Because a lot of other countries are disclosing their information about extraterrestrial contact. What do you say about that, Caleb?
I think it's control. It's control over our knowledge of what's really going on in the world and who's running it. And when people start to wake up to the fact that it's not in the best interest for them, then they start to make the changes that are necessary in order to, create the benefit for the people to get off of the stranglehold of, the energy companies that are really behind the technology that's out there.
And, Stephen Greer is very vocal about promoting that aspect of it, that oil and a lot of the fossil fuels and everything, that is what is keeping a lot of this out of our reach, is because a lot of money would be lost. So that's the sad thing, that technology is not embraced and all the new things that the extraterrestrials could bring to us, because somebody's going to have some empty pockets. So that's sad. Peter, why do you think that a lot of people are starting to take interest with Ce-5? I mean, I know it's an underground community, but you guys, I tell you, I have got so many emails asking about what you're doing. Why do you think this is getting some attention right now?
Well, I think because everybody's been passively watching what extraterrestrials are all about, and it's always about them contacting us. So it's in a way, it's also a control thing, where now we have some sort of control over the relationship with these extraterrestrial visitors. We can actually have a one-on-one communications, a friendship possibilities, a sense of control that, you have the ability to contact these beings without fear, because there's no evidence of them having any negative effect on any of us.
And I think that's a very positive experience for a lot of people to have, because there certainly is a lot of distrust and fear involved, when the public doesn't know anything about these beings and what they're here for. And what do you think, Ted? What do you think is the purpose of extraterrestrials? I mean, in your mind, why do you think they're interested in us?
Okay. Well, I think it's mainly kind of they've been in a mode of observing what we're doing. We really we're pretty primitive. We may think we're really advanced, and as a civilization, as a human race, we are advancing astronomically fast, but we're still an aggressive race, and that's rather primitive. And there's a reason that the UFO sightings really started to ramp up after we started testing nuclear weapons. This was kind of like they were kind of like, well, now the kids have the real firecrackers, and they could potentially be dangerous to themselves and also to the earth, and ultimately the rest of the civilizations out in space. I mean, if we develop these weapons, continue to develop these weapons, they're just going to get more and more advanced. And not only could we potentially be a threat to ourselves, but to them as well. So I think they've kind of been in an observing type of mode, but with this coming about of the CE5 stuff, for lack of better terms, now they are starting to realize that there are many of us who don't want that. We want to be part of a peaceful universe and peaceful alliance. So they're reaching out to us now because we're reaching out to them, and with the right intent. A crucial thing with the CE5 is that you approach it with an open heart and good intention, because they can really pick up on that, and they can also pick up on fear. So if you want to make effective contact, you need to come from a place of love and with an open mind and an open heart, and if you do that and you're open-minded, you will see that this is really happening. It's a real thing. We take it seriously. We have fun. We enjoy each other's company and stuff, but we also realize the real importance of this work that we're doing. I mean, really, it's pioneering work, to be able to do this. So our intention, and we hope, and what we feel is their intention too, is that humanity will evolve to a better place, a higher state of consciousness based on love, compassion, understanding, not on greed and fear and hate and these types of negative things.
I agree. That puts it in perspective for me, and I will say, yes, CE5 is very peaceful, and I don't know anything very peaceful about a fighter jet trying to swoop up and check you out, or some of the more advanced technology that the world has. I'm sure it seems very threatening, so the peaceful aspect is very compelling for me. And one of the things I can say in reviewing some of your expeditions is you guys keep impeccable records and documentation. You're very professional. And I think that it is very pioneering, because I don't know of any other group besides CE5 that are actively trying to pursue right now extraterrestrial contact. Peter, could you tell us what has been your most profound experience so far? I know you guys have been doing this for about 6 months, and I don't know how many expeditions that you've had, but could you describe to me a little bit about your most profound expedition?
Well, my most profound one was with Dr. Stephen Greer's. I read the literature. I knew about the light shows, and it did make people rather excited, and it did change people. I expected that, but this one expedition with Dr. Greer in the middle of the week, because I had a visitation in the group, as we were as a group, with a loved one that passed on. This loved one passed on. I felt this person's presence, and Dr. Stephen Greer also had a story about the same situation. I was like, oh my God, what is the probability of that? So what happened was I had a validation from another source. How would he know about my experience with my relationships with this person that passed on? It's very similar situation, the same names, the same kind of parents, the same background. I was totally profound on that. I don't want to get too much details on the radio because it's a personal thing, because it involves families at this point. But that was my most profound thing, is when it was a non-terrestrial thing, it was more something on the astral plane, on the astral being of people that has passed on.
Wow. Caleb, is there anything that stands out with you?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest, and I've always been really attached to nature, and I love to go out and just experience the truth in it. And back in 2008, about a month after my 18th birthday, I had a life-altering experience where I wiped out on my longboard. I was going really fast down a really big hill, and I ended up wiping out, and I had a really profound out-of-body experience, a near-death experience that showed me this divine light of love that saved me from this super deep, dark blackness, and
that's
ever
incredible.
since I woke up, yeah, it was absolutely life-changing, You get into appreciation for everything, and it made me see the world in a completely different way, So once I woke up out of that experience, it's like all of a sudden I'm turned on, and I notice the epicness of our reality, and I started to wonder what it's all about, why are we here? And I've always been a very spiritual person, and love to meditate, and I feel like I gain a great bit of knowledge from just going inside and asking questions, and most of the time I get answers. And it was about probably a year after my accident or my wipeout, and I remember I was meditating, and I had this realization that I don't remember being born. It was like all of a sudden a thought came into my mind that was like, do you remember being born? And I realized, oh my God, I don't remember being born. It's like all of a sudden I just manifested here in this world with all these other people, and I feel like that's something that is similar with us all. And I started to research, the first embryonic process of human development and what's involved. And I found out about certain things like the Fibonacci sequence, and I was being shown this greater truth behind that connection between us and life. And I ended up being introduced to the documentary Thrive from a friend who showed me it, and it just kind of brought all these things together, like
great documentary. I saw it.
Yeah, it really opened me up to everything that I'd been contemplating on and thinking, subconsciously, and it kind of connected all the dots for me. And eventually I was planning on making a move down to San Diego, and it was the month of April 2013, just about a year ago, and I was prepping for the move, and the same friend who introduced me to Thrive invited me out to a music show on April 19th that was happening at a university in Olympia, Washington, called Evergreen University. And I ended up going to this music show with him, and it was just like an awesome time, with local music creators and poets getting together to express their art and just living life to the fullest. And it was a great way to say goodbye to home. So I loved every bit of it. And after the show, we ended up going back to my friend's apartment, and we were just talking about life and everything that's going on, and we knew that the Serious Disclosure website was out, and also the documentary was being created. It was about to premiere on the 22nd, I believe.
Okay,
well,
let's hold that thought. We're going to go for a break right now. We'll come back. I want to hear the rest of this story, so we'll come back shortly.